So you've gotten to the point where you're painting model kits and you're kind of tired of using Gundam approved colors. And you kind of want to expand your thinking, but you need inspiration, especially when it comes to color palettes. So what do? Well, here's the thing about inspiration. It's not a finite resource. It's not like you are locked into having to look at Instagram with what other people do, or going on Google searches and looking at what other people do and pulling that up. What I like to do is kind of expand my thinking a bit more. And what I mean by that is, don't get locked into looking into the same things for inspiration. Go outside. Go into a shopping mall. Go into a sneaker store. Now, why do I say that? Take a look. So take, for instance, we got a pair of these right now. Now, these are Nikes. So obviously, we're in the Nike outlet. Look at the colors of this. Now, if you were choosing a Gundam kit, or perhaps you had an idea, but you kind of didn't have it fleshed out, I would take a look into sneakers, because sneakers like this colorway to me is absolutely awesome. Now, if you can imagine the kit that you're working on. Now, granted, this color scheme might not work for every single kit. The shape of the kit you have to take into consideration. Is it a smooth, sleek-looking kit, like maybe something like an Epion or something like that? Would look really awesome in a color scheme like this. Now, this gives me more of an aquatic underwater vibe. So if you can kind of see where I'm going with this, think first about what it is you're trying to accomplish theme-wise for your build. If it's something underwater, look for aquatic colors like this. It's already put together, so if you kind of are on the fence about mixing some colors, like let's say a pink and the rest of this, it works. The only thing is as it's been used in the sneaker sparingly and as an accent color. It's not the full, that pink is not the full thing here. The main colors in here are the different shades of blue, the white, and then you've got your accent color. So accent colors are a huge deal when it comes to keeping a good balance between your custom colorway that you're going to be going for in the Gundam kit that you are currently modeling right now. Another instance, take for instance these monies. You want a predominantly white kit with some red accents, some really cool gray pattern, maybe graphite in there. You can see exactly what it looks like right here. Now that's the cool thing about it. These things are already done for you, so you don't have to waste your paints, you don't have to do color swatches, you don't have to do any of that. Just take a trip over to your local sneaker store, take a look in the clearance rack, because the clearance rack actually has a lot of things that people don't want to wear with crazy gaudy colors. So if you really want to do a lunatic type of build, take a look over there. Let's see if we can find actually a example of what I'm talking about. So take a look at the colors that are here. You got gray, pink, yellow. That's pretty funky. Now, would I wear something like this? No, it's not necessarily my taste, but on an actual Gundam kit, this is giving me a little bit of a Evangelion kind of feel to it. And quite frankly, I think this works in this colorway. I think I'm going to use for a future build. So aside from looking at sneakers, look at clothing, you could also look, as a matter of fact, at something that has been my main inspiration since I was a child. Insects. That's right, those creepy crawly things that some of you freak out at the sight of, and some of you actually love and enjoy like I do. Now, I'm holding a book here called An Inordinate Fondness of Beetles. Now, the reason why I am advocating looking at insects is there are literally millions of them. Hundreds of thousands of different species that you can derive tons and tons of color inspiration off of. And just like the sneakers, the cool thing about them is that you can kind of see what works in the build that you're doing and what may not work for the build that you're doing. The color palettes, the color schemes are already put together here, and they are almost endless. Now, what I would suggest, like I said, is go to your local bookstore, take a look at some of these books. Take a look at some of the nature books. Doesn't have to be even insects. The cool thing is if you go and look at the animals in the sea, look at the deep sea creatures, how cool those things look. Look at what lives on the coral reef. The color palettes are so rich and varied, you kind of would have a hard time running out of inspiration. Another thing to keep note of too is the fact that don't limit yourself. As I mentioned before, if you see something that may have some kind of potential, look into it. Maybe it's going into a store, going into an arcade, if any of those exist anymore. Just take a look at your surroundings, take in colors, and especially so, make sure you pay attention to balance. Color balance. Now, depending on the kit that you're doing, you can go really wild with the colors, but they're kind of far and few in between. There always has to be an underlining amount of balance that you have to follow so as not to overdo something. You don't want to go and take what's called accent colors, as I mentioned before, and make those the main show and put the more sensible colors kind of in the background. You can do that, but at the same time, even so, you're still going to have to strike a balance. So always look for that line in the sand, so to speak. Try not to cross it. If you do cross it in a couple of little accents, you can do that, but don't go ballistic with it. That's just my opinion. That's my advice. You can take it or leave it. But I know with all the builds that I do, I always, in the first planning stages, look for what is my balance. What are going to be my accent colors? What are going to be my main colors? What do I want to stand out? And what kind of emotion am I trying to present when it comes to the certain build that I'm doing? Do I want to be like, holy cow, this is extraordinary? Do I want to be like, my God, my retinas are burning out of my skull right now? Or do I just want to say, man, that is just a really clean looking build, very clean representation? So kind of think what it is you're going for before you even start the build, before you even start looking into the color palettes or anything like that. What's your focus? What's your goal in the end result? If you like what you saw, please hit that like button, hit that bell icon to get notified of future uploads, and comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video, and especially so, share this video with others because that helps me greatly. I just hit the 2,000 subscriber mark, and I thank you so very much for that. I thank you so much for the kind comments and the feedback that I get from you all. It means the world to me, and it gives me the extra motivation to keep going. If you have any further questions, please let me know below or send me a message on Instagram. I try to do my best to reply to everybody as quickly as I possibly can. Hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching, and